Welcome back to the Frozen Fly. Today what we'll be tying is a pheasant tail nymph. Instead of pheasant tail, I will be using turkey tail. So we'll start off with a piece of lead wire. I don't know the diameter of this. You could use tungsten, you can use whatever. Depending on where you're at, some places it's illegal actually to use lead. Not here. So we'll go ahead and basically what this wire it does is it helps build the body of the fly. So we'll add on a few twists of this. We'll twist it off. That's what? It's probably about 12 turns, maybe less. 3, 6, okay, so it's 9 turns. We'll go ahead and tie in our thread here. I'm starting off right kind of behind where we tied in the lead. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a thread dam behind this lead just so that the lead stays put. I have the lead about an eye length from the from the eye of the hook. So once I do that, basically I'm going to run it back towards probably about the barb of the hook. And I'm using some extra long turkey tail. I'm a turkey hunter, so I had some laying around. So I'm making my tail probably about as long as the shank of my hook. The species I'm kind of targeting are steelhead, big trout. So a little bit more won't hurt nothing. And so basically I tied it in. I'm going to pull this up. Put some wraps on the inside. Wrap it up to the lead of the hook. And then get a little bit of dubbing. Again, I am using the red bloody black ice dub from Hairline. I got mine from Orvis. Next set I'll be ordering, I'll probably just order online. New Orvis store came in near me, so I went and checked it out. People don't really know what the heck they're doing in there. Kind of sucks. So I'm adding just a little bit of dubbing up here to cover up the lead a little bit better. Just a little bit. So basically we'll bring my thread back down. So now you can go ahead and add in, for legs, you can add in just about any feather. So basically what I'm looking at quick is what I want to use for a feather. You can use just about any feather, as long as it's kind of small and curved. I know I got a wing around here somewhere with some usable feathers on it, right here. So this is a wing for a golden pheasant. So basically I'm looking for a little bit smaller sized feather. This might work. I'm using a wing feather just so that reduce the amount of good materials that I'm using. So I pulled out a piece of the wing like this. It's got a little bit of froof on the back of it here. Peel off the froof like always. you won't use probably the whole thing. And so then what you'll do is you want to tie it in backwards and upside down, because basically what you're going to do is you're going to fold it over. So if the tip of my finger would be the end of the hook, the tip of the hook, so it's literally sitting like this, so this part is sitting in the vise. Basically you're going to attach it like this, you're going to fold it over like this, so that you're almost making kind of like a shell, but that's going to act as like legs. So we'll go ahead and tie this in here, tie it in at the tip. I'm going to use my hackle pliers quick to grab onto it and adjust to where I have it positioned so that it's a little bit more centered on the hook. There we go. And then I'm using a bodkin. I use a pin or a needle and just kind of pull out some of the fibers that are trapped in there carefully. Normally they use something like a guinea fowl feather here, something of that sort. I don't want to use up all my guinea fowl. So basically what I'm going to do then is bring my thread back forward. I'm actually going to use a half-hitch tool. I got my eye crowded just a little bit. Use my half-hitch tool here and just push back a little bit of these fibers. So now basically what I'm going to do is ahead of time I'm going to bend this back. And basically you're going to pull I'll turn my camera here so you guys can see, is pull some of these back so that you're not trapping any fibers when you tie down close to the eye here. So you're just pulling enough fibers back so that you're able to work it in there and get just the stem. Once you do that, you can bend it back again, trim it off, finish securing. So now once you get that in, take your turkey, rotate it up, you can, obviously it's called a pheasant tail nymph, so you can do this with pheasant tail. I'm adding in a few extra turns in the tail here to add a little more thickness here. I'm actually going to redo this here from the beginning, because turkey tail sometimes will want to lay down really thin. Actually what I'm going to do carefully here, thinking, I'm actually going to back this up. Depending on the thickness of your hook, you can get away with this without having to add dubbing back here, but my hook is a little thin, so I have to come back, and I have some junk dubbing I got laying around. It's actually not that junk, it's actually pretty nice dubbing, but I like UV dubbing just because it's pretty. So I added a little bit of wax. I'm putting on. This is I believe actually some just the underfur of some squirrel. When I tie some squirrel on anything with squirrel, and I take out the underfur. So basically all I'm doing is I'm just getting some of this on here. I'm not looking for the spikiness. I have a lot of squirrel dubbing, so that's what I'm using. instead of UV. UV would twist on a lot better right here. But I'm just trying to build up the body a little bit more so that it's a little more meaty in the tail. Fish like, you know, fish are looking for a meal some days. Yeah, a little more of the wax. Twist this on. That twisted on really good. Basically, kind of what I'm looking for is just enough to kind of add a little bit of mass to this tail area. So that should work. So now I bring my thread back up to my head, lay this back down, carefully try to tie it back. So now I will bring in the tail. Helps not to drop it. Oh, that came undone. Okay. So my legs came undone again. Basically, these legs are going to be an issue now that I have undone them. But I'll tame them here. So now I just kind of wrap these up, keeping my legs out of the way. Just pulling them back and forth until I get it all the way up. Sometimes you gotta use your bodkin. Just take your time. That's the biggest thing with this fly tying. So you gotta take your time. If you rush through it, that's when you go get things pinched and it's just not gonna look right. So basically what I did there was I had my thread at the head and I just did one real coarse wrap to get it down towards the tail so I can tie this off. I'm going to go in front of the tail then, but behind the legs. Use my bodkins, got another trapped fiber. Do a coarse wrap back up to the head. Then I'm going to take all these turkey tail fibers and pull them right over top towards the eye. Pinch them down. Secure. I'm actually going to leave those there because it'll make it easier to whip finish here. One good whip finish. And then another good whip finish. Now I can go ahead and trim off these. Crowded my eye just a little bit, but you can use your bodkin, move it around, should be good. And cut off your thread. You can go ahead and, if you feel the need to, you can go ahead and use a UV resin, like solar res, and secure those threads at the head. But these are so easy to tie, I don't ever feel the need to. You can sometimes also brush out the legs, but those should be fine as well. So that's how to tie a pheasant tail nymph using turkey tail. If I don't see you guys on the woods or in the water, hopefully I'll catch you guys next time on the Frozen Fly.